Please welcome Chief Harley Chappell from the Semiahmoo First Nation.
Nuilang Siamanis Chalata Siam, Pocton Sintasna, Hewach to Semiama, Semiamasan. Kukunosqual, Etikias. Welcome, dear friends and relatives, respected elders. My traditional name is Wapocton. My English name is Harley Chappell. I'm the elected chief and spokesperson for Semiahmoo First Nation. I just have a few words and a song I'd like to share here with you today. Again, I want to congratulate the recipients and the nominees for this evening's event. The songs we sing, the welcome songs that we sing are very, very important to us as Coast Salish people. When we would welcome our visitors and our guests to our communities, we would sing these songs and reciprocate our welcomings and coming of peacefulness, coming from of strength. So I'll share a short Semiahmoo welcome song with you. And again, I just want to congratulate each and every one of you this evening. Again, congratulating all the recipients of tonight's awards, as well as all the nominees and all the ones that put hard work and time and effort into their commitment to the good work that the young people are doing. Thank you.
Please welcome the Surrey City Orchestra to perform O Canada. The SASSY Awards were established in 2011 to recognize service above self by Surrey youth. And nominations in each of the 7 award categories were submitted in February. The award finalists in each category and then the award recipients were selected by a panel of judges based on a set of criteria. Each recipient receives a $1,000 award and a keepsake SASSY trophy, as well as $500 to donate to the registered Canadian charity of their choice. Please welcome your MC for the 10th Annual SASSY Awards, Lexi Wynn.
Welcome everyone to the 10th Annual SASSY Awards. We were supposed to be celebrating together back in May, but here we are. The time has actually zoomed by, don't you think? First, I want to acknowledge that SASSY takes place on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded Indigenous land of the Katsi, Semiahmoo, Kwantlen, and other Coast Salish peoples. Unceded means that this land was never surrendered, relinquished, or handed over in any way. This year, there were 55 SASSY nominees, and we congratulate every one of them in their incredible achievements. Recipients are selected on a range of criteria, but primarily on service initiatives in which they have taken a leadership role. Nominees and finalists who do not receive an award tonight are eligible and encouraged to reapply in subsequent years until they are 21. So let's face it, we would rather be doing this together and feeling the energy and excitement from our finalists in the room together. So please be sure to show all of our finalists some love by clapping and cheering on the camera and cheering, woohoo, on camera. But please do keep your mics on mute during the presentations until the very end. We do ask that you stay on until the end of the awards so we can actually give a live round of applause to all of the finalists and our recipients. Some other housekeeping items. In the top right corner, you will see that you can switch between speaker and gallery view. We also invite you to use the reaction buttons and interactive chat window. If you're having any technical difficulties, please message Andrea and she'll do Andrea at the help desk, and she will do her best to assist. Are we good? Thumbs up? Thank you, everyone. Seriously, folks, I am so excited for what's to come. And already inspired after Ben's awesome music and that rendition of O Canada by the Surrey City Orchestra. Did you all know that Surrey has its own symphony orchestra? How cool is that? And Chief Harley Chappell's remarks and singing of the Semiahmoo First Nations welcome song really set the tone in bringing us all together. So thank you for being here, Chief Chappell, and doing our official welcome. We also thank Mayor Darrell Walker of White Rock for being here with us, and Rotary District 5050 District Governor Carol Tickleman, former District Governor Linda Jean Coyle, and SASSY Chair Alex Watson. Hopefully I didn't miss anyone. I feel like this is a good time to test out our cheering capacity right now. So let's give it a shot. I want to see those claps and arm fist pumps and everything. So that's awesome. Thank you, everyone. It's hard to believe that it's been 4 years since I was a finalist in the community service category, and I am honored to introduce those finalists to you this evening. It is through people like them that I've continued my passion in community service. I was a founding member of the Semiahmoo Peninsula Rotaract Club in 2018 and served as co-president. I've not only gotten to know some truly amazing people, but somehow it always seems that I get back way more than I give. At least that's just my personal experience. So, the Community Service Award recognizes youth who have made an outstanding contribution to the local community. This year's award is sponsored by the White Rock Rotary Club and Friends of SASSY. I'm proud to introduce to you our community service finalists.
The Community Service Award is sponsored by the White Rock Rotary Club and Friends of SASSY.
My grandmother is a big source of wisdom for me. You know, we talk often on the sofa about issues related to Hold High the Torch. She also tells us about veterans and her experiences writing cards to veterans and soldiers on the front line when she was a little girl. Hold High the Torch, the 4 words are borrowed from the In Flanders Fields poem by John McCrae. The essence of what I wanted to convey is that our freedom, our opportunities, our democratic governance, and our respect for human rights, all these fall under that torch, and that is important. It's important for youth to follow in the footsteps of our previous generations and hold high that torch. And that is done but through things like honoring our veterans and learning about how we came to have all these freedoms and opportunities that we have today. One quality that the youth of today really need in order to prosper and to survive essentially is authenticity. I think a lot of youth these days, focus on just how they're perceived by others, how they're perceived by their family, their friends, and broader society, and how they can improve their standing essentially by improving others' perception of them and things like that. But I really believe in being true to yourself, being who you really are, and that comes down to authenticity.
In October 2013, there was a study published by Canadian Cancer Society which said that South Asians are tremendously underscreened for cancer. And then in January 2014, I joined the Tobacco Task Force team. And over the years, I started learning a lot about cancer, and I was really fascinated. And every time I was going out in the public, I was getting to know that the community doesn't really know a lot about cancer, which is one of the main purposes why I initiated South Asian Cancer Association, so that I can create awareness within the public. There's a lot of research, information, resources available out there that our community is oblivious to. And this is something that really motivates me to go and talk to the public, inform them, and help them to my best. It was through Canadian Cancer Society that I learned so much about cancer, so I chose SACA to be dedicated to the Canadian Cancer Society. If you keep doing what you're really passionate about, you will reach your goal. So always push forward and cross every barrier that inhibits your happiness and your goals.
In high school, I was highly involved in a number of projects that were centered around empowering and destigmatizing marginalized groups in our community. So this ranges from meal serving and care package distributions for the homeless population, donating Christmas gifts for the youth in foster care, to helping families greatly impacted by the current COVID-19 pandemic by dropping off and buying them groceries. So these initiatives were all kind of run under a club that I was leading since grade 10 called the Fraser Heights Leo Club. Leo stands for Leadership Experience Opportunity. Our main mission was not only to serve the community, but also help students realize their potential to make a difference in the community. So we do this by allowing them to learn about issues that are often pushed under the rug and neglected by society, and then providing with the opportunities to actually go into the community, interact with different groups of people, and help spread awareness. It's really, really important to always think beyond our individual needs and come together as a collective community and a collective group, because right now it's not only about what we want or what we need, it's about how to kind of create a community that can help each other and support each other. And that way you can all bridge the social gaps and social segregation and come to a more advanced and more inclusive society.
Wow, what incredible individuals. And there's 3 of them. It's such a hard choice to just choose one. Well, I have what we've all been waiting for. I've been dying to open this. So I would like to announce the 2020 SASSY Award for the Community Service section that is going to... And the recipient of the 2020 SASSY Award for Community Service is June Son. Congratulations, June. June has chosen Veterans Transition Network as his charity recipient. Congratulations again.
I am donating my $500 to the Veterans Transition Network. They do a fantastic job helping young veterans, especially young veterans, cope with PTSD and through group counseling sessions. As a nation, we have a duty to care for those who have served under the flag and I really believe strongly that this one is really worth supporting, and the veterans' mental health. Yeah.
All right, am I on mute? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? That's it. All right, so my name's Austin. As you can see, I'm sitting here with one of my past SASSY Award trophies, actually. So I was an honor 4 years ago to be a recipient of the Environmental Leadership Award, actually. And it's an honor to be here with all of you tonight, just because it's been a long time and I've been involved with Rotary for a few years myself. And I just want to thank the city of Surrey, obviously, and the Semiahmoo Rotary Club, I think it was, that put on this event. So thank you to them, and thanks to the sponsors too. It's obviously wouldn't have been possible without everyone that puts in the time and effort for this. And yeah, I can't tell you guys how great it feels to see youth in the community doing this kind of stuff. Like, for me, it's always been important to live more sustainably and just try and raise awareness about that and educate people, including my peers and other youth as I was growing up in the community to live more sustainably. I was about 10 years old, actually, when I first learned about David Suzuki. Growing up, he was my role model, and through my own work, I learned that environmental rights are human rights, just based on David Suzuki's fight for that to be in the Constitution of Canada, for our right to be basically living in a clean environment. While basic, we are learning that these rights must be protected and should not be taken for granted. So thank you and congratulations to this year's environmental leadership nominees for making a difference. Without further ado, let's make this year's finalists in the environmental leadership category recognized. And thank you once again to McElhaney for sponsoring this category.
The International Service Award is sponsored by the Semiahmoo Rotary Club.
My volunteer work related to international service dates back to 2016 when I first got involved with the Miss Fiji Canada Cultural Society and Organization. So over the years, I've been able to plan, organize, and do a bunch of fundraiser events and activities to collect monetary and in-kind donations for young children back in the Fiji Islands, more specifically for children that resided in the Treasure House Orphanage in Nandi. So during the summer of 2018, I had the opportunity to go to Fiji and spend the month traveling across the island.
The Environmental Leadership Award is sponsored by McElhaney.
My work in kind of the environmental sector has started since I was 13 years old. And it first started when I volunteered with the Blue Dot movement in Vancouver. And the Blue Dot movement is essentially a movement dedicated to installing the right to a healthy environment as a human right in Canada. So that's kind of the legally protected right to have clean air, fresh water, and safe food for all Canadians, which is something that we actually don't have right now. And we've also done community projects where we'll go out and do organized tree plantings, and we started a community garden. So that was more to empower other students at my school to kind of learn about environmental issues and become activists within themselves after kind of taking the information I'd learned at Blue Dot as kind of a younger activist in this bigger network, because the Blue Dot movement's affiliated with the David Suzuki Foundation. So I took information from there, I could bring it to my school, and other students who were interested in environmental issues and climate activism could get involved through that, and I could teach them kind of the basics of what the movement stands for and how you can get involved when you're a bit younger and before you can kind of take it to the next level. Kind of beyond all this work that I did, so I kind of was working at the local level, then a bit more at the national level with the Blue Dot movement, and then finally I went to the international level last June when I was selected to be a youth delegate to the United Nations in Germany. So I went for a climate change conference as part of this other organization called the British Columbia Council for International Cooperation. And I was kind of going there as a connector between like these big international policy meetings and youth in Canada and in Vancouver who want to like understand what's going on here, especially following the report that came out in 2018, the IPCC report about 1.5 degree warming and its impact on kind of the next 50 years of human life on this planet. We are, although like it seems like it's this huge system that's kind of run right now against us when it comes to climate change, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done. I just personally like to always think that like there is a way that we'll get a solution and we will solve this problem one way or another. Like we're not just going to let this unfold. And it's the same with like so many other social justice issues. I find like you just have to stay optimistic that change will be possible, and if not like right now, if it seems like it's not going to happen today, then like working towards tomorrow or in a year from now or in like 4 years from now when there's a next election or something like that, like what can we do within the system that we have right now to kind of change the world for the better and create a better future for ourselves. But I find you just have to remain like optimistic and enthusiastic and still work towards these goals. And I mean, progress is being made. I think that's just the best thing to hold on to, is that people are doing good work and that it's going to happen eventually.
A couple years ago, I started an environmental Instagram account and website and started educating my community on how my family was working to become zero waste. And after that, I moved on to a lot of different opportunities. I began working with a bunch of different organizations to promote sustainable living and helping others in the community. I've worked with sustainability teams. I started a tri-school alliance with a couple other schools in my community. And I've also worked with tree planting organizations. I've worked with shoreline cleanups. And the main thing I've been doing is I have an article for Peace Arch News, and I write about different environmental problems and how we can create sustainable alternatives to those things for individuals and in our community as well. So I've been writing a monthly column for the past year or so, which has been amazing and a very good way for me to share my voice in my local community. And the recent thing I've been working on is I work at a retirement home as a recreation assistant, and I'm currently working with the managers of the care home to make the building a sustainable environment. So I'm starting with the kitchen, and right now we're working to reduce all of the waste and getting compostable containers and like changing the recycling system of the company so it functions more sustainably. And then I'm gonna go on from there, but that's where I'm starting right now. The main thing that inspires me is just seeing the beauty of our environment and not wanting that to be destroyed. And as well as all the people and everyone I care about, and those in third world countries who are the ones who will be affected the most by climate change. I just want everyone to be able to succeed and be able to do what they choose. And I just want everyone to be happy, and trying to take all these environmental initiatives is my way of trying to help others.
I would say my main environmental focus has been my school Earth Club for the past 5 years. I think I got involved not only to make a difference and be a part of my school community, but to kind of share my passion for sustainability and show my classmates that, there are so many little things that you can do that will make such a big impact on your carbon footprint and really benefit the Earth. So one of the last kind of big events that we held before kind of quarantine took over and we were all stuck at home was the koala bear cookie fundraiser. We saw the detrimental effects that the Australian wildfires were making on such a beautiful ecosystem, and we just thought that we really need to put something together to help. And we try to be as sustainable as possible. And so we went to grocery stores where we kind of brought our own bags and kept it in reusable containers, and we tried to do everything really, branded of us, Earth Club. So we really focused on the environmental aspect. And then when we started selling them, we actually sold out in the first 7 minutes of lunch. And it was very, very overwhelming because we obviously didn't expect it to be so in demand and so popular. And so we ended up raising around $250 to $300 Australian dollars. We ended up donating the money we got from the fundraiser to an Australian koala hospital / rehabilitation center, where we really thought the money would be needed because of that's the city that took a hard hit from the Australian wildfires.
Wow, yeah, that was amazing. Little virtual round of applause for those guys. I'm definitely a bit biased, just being a real environmentalist, or at least self-proclaimed one. And yeah, those three are definitely inspiring me a lot. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And I've got this cool little letter here. So I got the honors of opening this letter, and I don't even know who won out of those three. So we're all gonna find out together now. So I'll open this envelope and then we'll find out. But shout out to everyone, including obviously especially these three nominees, but everyone doing their part for the environment. Means a lot to everyone and the environment, little old Earth. So yeah, I opened it. Here we go. So, and the recipient of the 2020 SASSY Awards for the Environmental Leadership Award is Samuel Albert. Yeah. Congratulations, Samuel. So Samuel has chosen Water First as his charity recipient. Good stuff, Samuel.
I am choosing to donate the $500 donation to Water First, and that is a charity that basically funds water infrastructure projects for Indigenous communities in Canada. It's basically an issue that I became really passionate about as I learned more about colonization this year and about the consequences we've had as settlers on this land. So this is a charity that I'm hoping can basically empower these communities a bit more. Water First has really taken the initiative on it, and they're choosing to put the funds into it and get some infrastructure built. And it's an organization I've been supporting this whole year. I've done a lot of fundraisers with them in the community, and I'm basically hoping that a $500 donation will make a big impact on them.
Hi. Wow, so far it's a total throwback to the 2016 awards. Hi everyone, I'm Elizabeth Tickleman. I was honored to receive the SASSY Award for International Service back in 2016. And true to what Lexi said earlier, I can honestly say that my own life was enriched in ways I could never have imagined when I volunteered as a student teacher for 3 months in Coronasau. It was a community along the beautiful Coral Coast in Fiji back in 2015. A sign outside that school said, hard work leads to prosperity. And I would add that service work leads to personal growth and fulfillment as well. Did you know that there are other surprising benefits to volunteering? Research shows that volunteering actually leads to improved physical and mental health. It even increases the life expectancy of seniors, so pretty cool. Too busy to volunteer? Well, you might find this interesting. The Harvard Business Review published a study that found those who volunteer, their time actually feel they have more time. Kind of similar to the research showing that people who donate money to charities actually feel wealthier. So I don't know about you, but I am super excited to meet the 2020 finalists for the international service. So let's thank them and the sponsors of this year's award, the Semiahmoo Rotary Club.
The International Service Award is sponsored by the Semiahmoo Rotary Club.
My volunteer work related to international service dates back to 2016 when I first got involved with the Miss Fiji Canada Cultural Society and Organization. So over the years, I've been able to plan, organize, and do a bunch of fundraiser events and activities to collect monetary and in-kind donations for young children back in the Fiji Islands, more specifically for children that resided in the Treasure House Orphanage in Nandi. So during the summer of 2018, I had the opportunity to go to Fiji and spend the month traveling across the islands while also getting to distribute food, school supplies, and a bunch of other stuff to children in several villages that we visited along the way. In addition to this, we spent some time at the actual Treasure House Orphanage that we've been fundraising for over the years. And so what myself and my team had actually done was ship off large cargo boxes filled with clothes, food, school supplies, equipment, and a number of other necessities, and have it get there in time so when we did arrive to Fiji, we could deliver it ourselves. We also found out that the money our team had fundraised for and sent to the orphanage was used for things like repairing the school bus that they had to drop off the kids to school, along with like their tuition payments, since children in Fiji, their education isn't free right now. I've been doing this for over the last 4 years, and it brings me great joy and pleasure to see the smiles on these children's faces.
We decided to do our first big international project, which was the Guatemala Stove Project. So we had a very warm welcome into the community. Regardless of our language barrier, we were able to jump right into games of soccer and feeling like we totally knew each other. Families traditionally cooked with open fires inside. Families were inhaling constant smoke all day. The firewood was very expensive because of the inefficiency. Finally, there's the environmental impact of the families would burn lots of wood, more than necessary, and that had a effect on deforestation.
So over the course of the next 4 days, we will be assembling 89 stoves, all between teams of 5 people. The organization asks the villagers to pay a small amount because then we know that they're committed to having the project, but we don't charge them very much. It's only about $1 to get these stoves, where it actually costs a lot more to manufacture them, transport them, and install them.
And by the end, it was very hard to leave because we had become all emotionally attached to these children from the village.
It's been lots of fun, great experience installing all of these stoves.
When I was 15, I was lucky enough to be one of the youth volunteers that were chosen to go on a Rotary trip to Mexico with the Canadian Wheelchair Foundation. First, there was the shock of that there's people who are living with disability who are also living in poverty, and just the extreme of vulnerability that they're facing through that experience. I ended up making my own club at UBC, which is centered around giving wheelchairs to people in developing countries. So I started the club when I was in my first year, and now I'm entering my 5th year at UBC, and we have over close to 20 members in our club. We do lots of community outreach, like fundraising and stuff, so that we can raise funds so we can get wheelchairs to people who need them. So as a club, we've been to Costa Rica and we've been to India. In a developing country such as Uganda, people who are living with disability are, you can say, kind of discriminated against in a way. So they were slapping us with a holding tax and slapping us with a lot of what seemed to be corruption. We weren't able to get them wheelchairs. They were stuck at the airport, so we had to pull a few strings. Actually had to go to the Minister of Trade of Uganda to get that holding tax waived and get those wheelchairs to the people. So during that time, it was a lot of conversations, a lot of advocacy. In a country like that, where there's so much poverty, if you are someone with a disability, you're on a very low rung, unfortunately. It's very hard for you to have a voice. So in that moment, I had to be very courageous. It's really hard once you're faced with someone who has a completely different perspective from you, and trying to help them see your perspective can be difficult, especially when there's monetary and corporate institutions involved. So it really just takes a lot of determination and never stop believing in your cause, basically. So that was a great experience, kind of difficult as well, but yeah, that was an interesting, unforeseen thing that happened in Uganda.
Wow, so many amazing nominees. Someone said, I don't know how you can choose, you're all winners, and I definitely agree. Okay, so I have the envelope here, and the recipient for international service. I could get it open. The recipient for the 2020 SASSY Award for there's a typo, for international service is Sherry Sandhu. Congratulations. She has also chosen the Canadian Wheelchair Foundation as her charity recipient.
I'm going to give the $500 to the Canadian Wheelchair Foundation because I believe the gift of mobility is one of the greatest gifts you can give someone. It means freedom, it means agency, it means independence, it means a chance at having a new life, and so that is just an incredible gift to give somebody. So I think that would be a really worthwhile way to use this money.
It was 10 years ago I had the pleasure to join you in person to see the incredible creations, innovations, arts, culture, activism, change-making, you name it, that we get a chance to celebrate today. You should be so incredibly proud because you and your family and teachers and all those in your life have helped to support you to create this incredible impact and making a difference. And there's no greater calling, no higher purpose than making this world a better place. And you're embodying that through your creativity, your innovation, your entrepreneurship, your ingenuity. Know that today, it's not just those who gathered in person who are standing with you, not just the power of Rotary standing with you, not just your family, friends, and teachers who helped to get you here, but all those who believe in a better Canada and a better world, because together we are unstoppable. Have an amazing celebration.
Good evening, everyone, and congratulations to all the finalists and recipients so far. I received the Arts and Culture Leadership Award back in 2013, which was at the time called the Award for Performing Visual Arts. I appreciate that the category name has been refreshed in an effort to be more encompassing and inclusive. Arts and culture is a unique part of the fabric of our society that can unite and inspire us throughout our lives, conveying information in ways that resonate uniquely with audiences. My own passion for dance allowed me to tell stories and interpret music in ways that was unique to me. And the children I have taught and mentored over the years could then interpret music and movement in their own unique ways. Whatever our chosen medium, be it dancing on stage, the art of photography, or painting on a canvas, I think understanding the importance of our own creativity is key. The arts are a vast space where valuable insights can be discovered and shared. Art creates things of great beauty, inspires activism, and even healing. Hopefully, we continue to learn and teach and celebrate our uniqueness across platforms and cultures. This year, the Arts and Culture Leadership Award is a community effort generously sponsored by the Friends of SASSY. So thank you to everyone who has donated to the Friends of SASSY Fund throughout our website. Now let's check out the creative genius of the 3 finalists.
The Arts and Culture Leadership Award is sponsored by Friends of SASSY.
I've been involved in the local arts and culture community since 2018, 2019, and I volunteer with both the Surrey Youth Art Council as well as the Semiahmoo Art Society. Through them, I do a bunch of shows and different events such as Surrey Steps Up, Artist Garage sales, and fundraisers. And I've also been featured in international galleries. I've been featured on the Museum of Transology's online gallery. It's London, UK based. And I've had my art featured in the Spotlight magazine twice. I've fostered a lot of self-confidence over the time that I've been involved in art shows and art societies. It's really made me learn how to be comfortable sharing my story, as well as how to really learn from other people and grow from their experiences as well. It's very important to uplift youth voices. Youth, especially in these times, have really important messages to send because they are living through these experiences. They have to live with the world as they grow up, and they're change makers. There needs to be a lot of change, so it's very important to uplift their voices, give them a sense of community, and help get them involved in things that they're interested in, such as the arts and volunteer work, because it really makes a change to have youth involved and to have them be able to communicate what they want to see in the world.
I've been dancing for about 10 years now. I do a mix of hip hop, and outside of school I do this classical form called Bharatanatyam. I have taken the initiative to be a co-coach at our junior team. And I did this because I wanted to help them to be more confident and help them through the transition from elementary to high school since they're juniors. Being a coach has been a really amazing experience. It has taught me so much about being a role model and being more confident to them. I've also been teaching or taking classes for Bharatanatyam with my dance studio. I've been teaching to little children the basics of the dance. Working with little children had shown me the importance of being patient and breaking down things. Being part of the team really just, makes the whole community better because we're competing against other schools, and that just brings up the dance spirit. I do what I do because dance has been one of the best aspects of my life. It made me who I am today. So I really try to help others discover that passion. And having something like that really makes your life so much more colorful, in my opinion. One thing in dance that inspires me is the fact that it's going on forever. There's never a journey where you're just a master of dance. You're always learning and you're always growing as a person, and that keeps me motivated and that keeps me pushing forward to get better and better.
Volunteering is really important to me, so it was really cool to be able to do this crazy exhibition that I've never gotten a chance to do before. So I have an incredible photography teacher who got me this opportunity to curate a art exhibition all by myself. Yeah, we made this awesome show. It's called Abandoned Story, and it was hung up in the Cloverdale Rec Center for a couple months. But we did do a video tour, and we went live with the video tour, and I answered a bunch of questions, and it was a really great experience. I realized that most of my photos and artwork, they don't look like they're finished. They're technically finished. There's complete artwork. There's no color left out or editing not done, but you look at it and you're like, there's something missing. I'm not getting the full picture here. And you have to think for yourself to fully connect. And usually there's a lot more to it than just what meets the eye, which I love about art. I think it's so interesting and powerful. And I love that people can tell stories through art, but also leave them unfinished for viewers to completely come up with their own idea. And so I was like, okay, well, I love the thought of a broken narrative or an abandoned story. So that kind of just became the theme, and people took it and they made it their own. And it was so much fun to see the outcome of everyone's work. It was really cool. I've loved photography. I've loved that I can make a pillow and a phone. I can make such a big deal out of those two things thrown up in the sky at the same time. Yeah, I don't know. It makes me so happy to take pictures. Everyone is unique to their own, and art really represents that. When you're unique to your own and you're confident in yourself and your personality, it's so easy to just show others in artwork because you can do anything and you can see the spirit and their passion through it. Even if it's just even if it's a stick figure, someone will love it. Someone will love it. So I think just do it. Just have fun with it. If you have fun, someone else is gonna have joy from it.
Wow, that was incredible. Just like Austin said earlier, I feel so blessed to have these youth leading our community in Surrey. So congratulations to everyone. But I'm going to open up the envelope now. And the recipient of the 2020 SASSY Award for Arts and Culture Leadership is Abby Dubé. Congratulations, Abby. Abby has chosen the BC Cancer Foundation as her charity recipient.
I'll be proudly donating to the BC Cancer Foundation because unfortunately my mom was diagnosed with stage 4 ovarian cancer probably about 5 or 6 years ago. And it was an incredibly difficult time for my family. And, you never realize how much one person does for a family. And my mom did everything. And she does. She's okay now. She beat it.
we did it. We had a lot of help from our friends, people that I wasn't close to at all, who would make meals for us and make sure that we were getting by while she was having surgery or having her chemo. And yeah, I never want anyone to have to go through any of that because it was such a hard time for us. So yeah, if I could donate all the money in the world, most of it would go to cancer research for sure.
Good evening, all. I am Jasny. I was a recipient of the Sport and Recreation Leadership Award last year, and it meant a lot to me because it kind of made me pause and think about how far I had come, not only as an athlete and a coach, but as a person. Don't get me wrong, I am a competitive athlete, and you have to be competitive to excel at an elite level sport. I have been fortunate enough to represent Canada on the track, and I've always worked hard to earn the right to be here. I learned that I also need to be a humble athlete. Coaching showed me that there were little kids who were watching me, and that I had to show them not only how to win, but how to lose and how to keep going when I'm exhausted or injured or facing other challenges. So there are some important life lessons in sport and more reasons to compete rather than just winning. This year's SASSY Award in Sports and Recreation Leadership is sponsored by Coast Capital Savings. Let's meet our finalists.
The Sports and Recreation Leadership Award is sponsored by Coast Capital Savings.
I started as a competitive gymnast at 4 years old, and I transitioned into diving at 12. And being a part of the sports community is what helped me transition and become a coach and work with multiple athletes in a different range of ages and abilities in both diving and gymnastics. Volunteering has taught me a lot about being a member of the community and finding my identity as a part of the community. I think it really helped me to learn a connection with the community that I didn't really have a connection with before. I have one athlete who I've worked with for just over 2 years now, and when I first started working with her, she was very anxious to come into practice, and it would take half an hour for her just to warm up and be willing to participate. And I remember just constantly going back to her and just sitting there and kind of like, okay, do we think we can try now? And slowly that process would become faster and faster, where she would reintegrate back into participating. And she always left with a smile on her face, but it wasn't until this past year where she just came in filled with excitement and she just ran right into practice. And it was the other day I was working with her and she didn't want to go to break. She was so determined that she's like, nope, I'm going to keep working on this. Can I please? And it was just, she just kept asking and she just wanted to, I don't know, that joy and that dedication it has become such a big part of her and her identity. And that's my favorite part of coaching, is watching the growth happen throughout the athlete.
Something that's really been a passion of mine is soccer. I always loved this sport because you could just go out and have the most fun and you could make friends with whoever was out on the field, and it was just a great time. I have now been coaching for 4 years. I'm going into my 5th year in September, and I love every second of it. So I get to hang out with all different age groups, all different kids, and it's just amazing to be able to teach them a sport that I grew up loving myself. Being able to show them skills, and it's an amazing opportunity. And I really try to look for making sure that everyone is included. I think that inclusion is such a huge part of sport, and we should make everyone feel at home in sport, and I really try to do that. So if a kid's not really participating, or if they're really not, if they don't feel like they're as energetic or whatever, I'll try and take them aside. I'll try and talk to them. I'll try to make the soccer community as best of a home for them as I can. And that's really been something that I've tried to do since day one. Honestly, I'm a big believer in just one step at a time. I love myself some baby steps. So just putting yourself out there, or even being willing to help out, even if it may seem small or something, definitely goes a big long way. I didn't think I was going to be a soccer coach for 5 years now. And so it's just putting yourself out there. You can do it. I really, everyone has the power to change the world one step at a time.
It's so good to see all these young coaches. Other recipient right here. And the recipient of the 2020 SASSY Award for Sport and Recreation Leadership is Amberly Moore. Congratulations, Amberly. Amberly has chosen Inter-A Student Society as a charity recipient.
So I chose to give to the Inter-A Student Society. They really focus on making leaders, better leaders for tomorrow. And so I've been so fortunate to be a part of the Inter-A program for going on 5 years now. And I think that is definitely what's made me a better leader, has pushed me to try new things, to leap for the stars, I guess. And it's also part of the reason why I'm able to be here and talk to you about being a soccer coach.
Alrighty, can everybody hear me? You good? Okay, cool. So hey guys, I'm Emma Salisbury, and what I love about the SASSY Awards is that we learn more than the names of the recipients. We get a sense of the human spirit. What a gift it is that everyone today has shared a part of their own self with us tonight. And I know that is not easy to do. As a little girl, I loved to dance. By 13, I had danced my way to a scholarship at Canada's National Ballet School. At 15, I was diagnosed with lupus, which soon resulted in my kidneys shutting down. Shortly after my first chemotherapy treatment, I suffered a stroke that paralyzed the entire left side of my body. I was told that I was never going to walk again, let alone dance. Even though I was going through a lot of scary feelings, I was inspired by my own dance students who believed in my ability to walk and hopefully dance again. As it turned out, those little girls knew more than the doctors. They inspired me to work harder than I could ever imagine possible. Today, I am studying child and youth care, and I'm hoping to go back and work in a hospital setting in hopes of helping children work through their medical challenges. So it is my privilege today to introduce the recipients of the Overcoming Adversity Award.
The Overcoming Adversity Award is sponsored by the White Rock Peninsula Rotary Club and Sources Foundation.
So I actually have Asperger's autism, and I have since I was a kid. I've definitely learned a lot about myself and what that says about me, because I was never actually told until I think I was a teenager. And I think it would have been great to know as a kid, because I would have been able to get to know myself better. And I really had a lot of struggles growing up, making friends, and I just didn't know why I was different from everyone else. But now that I know my full story, I love to talk about it, because the reason that they didn't tell me is that because Asperger's autism is so stigmatized, is that they wouldn't tell me. And I think that in the future, autism shouldn't be a bad thing. It should just mean, hey, we're all different. My brain works a little different than yours, and not everybody understands that yet, and that's okay. So PRDA stands for Pacific Riding for Developing Abilities. It's a therapeutic horse riding barn that I've been a part of for longer than I haven't been. I started there when I was about 8 years old. I'm 17 now. And so when I was younger, I had a really, really hard time socializing. So my first real unspoken connections were actually with horses. which kind of sounds a bit weird, but that's how I learned to make friends and actually read people. And now I'm getting the chance to give back, and I love it. I'm a coach, and I coach other students, and I feel like one of my students right now actually reminds me of myself when I was her age. I'd like to say a quote here. Her name is Phoenix, and she rides one of the horses that I used to ride at her age. And she said, one of her teachers asked her, "What is it like to have autism?" And she said, "What is it like to have autism? What is it like to be Phoenix?" So that's a quote I live by. It's great. She loves herself, she loves her story, and she's in a better place to talk about her story than I was at 8 years old. So I think that's absolutely incredible.
Growing up, I was always a high-level soccer and basketball player. However, over the years, I began to develop severe migraines that increased to a day-to-day basis. And the pain became so diminishing that it affected my ability to play sports, attend school, and my overall quality of life. At the age of 16, I was diagnosed with a rare brain condition called an arteriovenous malformation. I had to undergo brain surgery. It also terrified me to know that I had a ticking time bomb inside my head. And along with that, I had to stop playing soccer and basketball, which was a huge part of my life. And it was so difficult to even be able to attend school. After I underwent a 6.5-hour surgery at BC Children's Hospital, my recovery was long and painful, and I had to spend several months at home. I am a volunteer at Surrey Memorial Hospital, a mentor for younger children undergoing similar operations, as well as volunteering my time at a long-term care facility during the COVID pandemic by helping assist residents to have safe family visits. My aspiration overall is to spread general awareness of self-advocacy and empower people to overcome their adversities. Take your experiences and grow from them, negative or positive. I believe that your experiences make up the person you become, so the way you handle those experiences and learn from them will determine the type of person you're going to become in the future.
I didn't grow up in a stable home, I guess you'd say. It was mostly an abusive home, and there was a lot of drugs going around and fighting. But since I was in the Metro Kids program, I've grown to forgive the people in my family that caused a lot of pain. And I've grown confidence because I did have a lot of low self-esteem throughout living with my family, but now I've grown confidence I learned to love myself. I've grown up in the ministry since I was about a little girl, and I wanted to help kids in the community like me. So I asked if I can join, and when I got old enough, I became a leader. So that was about 3 years ago that I started leading Connection. Most of the kids come from what I said, broken homes, and once they come into our buildings, they are the happiest they've ever been. They feel safe, welcome, they have their friends around. I recently impacted a younger girl. I believe she was about 6 years old in grade 2, and her family is like mine. There's a lot of neglect. I thought it'd be a good idea to give her a little package of some notebooks and pencil crayons and pencils just for her school so she can write in her journal. That was the assignment that the teacher gave her. So I gave it to her, and once I gave it to her, she had the biggest smile on her face. I think that was the happiest I've ever seen her. And yeah, I think that really made an impact in her life, and I'm glad I did that for her.
Wow, I can't believe how strong you guys are. So here's my envelope. Let's see, just give me a second. The recipient of the 2020 SASSY Award for Overcoming Adversity is Kristen Rickard. Congratulations, Kristen.
I'm donating to Metro Kids Society because they help out underprivileged youth and kids in the community. Donating this money will help reach out to many children like me and help make Metro Kids grow as well.
Hello, everybody. Does everyone else have the warm fuzzies from all these inspirational young people? Because I sure do. Welcome to our final category and my personal favorite, youth leadership. My name is Vivian, and I was thrilled to receive this award in 2018. You see, youth are the leaders of tomorrow. Youth are sparks of creativity and passion with such bright futures ahead of them. I believe we all play a role in ensuring that today's youth feel seen and heard so that they can reach their potential and we can brighten our world together. The finalists in this category are already brightening our world and creating even more light by empowering youth and helping them shine. So I want to say thank you to Save on Foods who have generously sponsored this category again this year. Let's meet the 2020 finalists in youth leadership.
The Youth Leadership Award is sponsored by Save on Foods.
Being born and raised in the city of Surrey, I was fortunate enough to have a great education and I enjoyed where I grew up. And for me, I wanted to give back to this amazing community by volunteering and supporting it as much as I could. And service has been at the core of everything I do, from volunteering with the City of Surrey, Surrey Arts Center, or being president of my student council at school and various other organizations. And it's amazing to see the impact that volunteering can have. I remember one day at this, I believe it was the Surrey Arts Gallery, where I saw this kid who was trying to color a lion in with a crayon, but she wasn't able to. And then I realized that she had limited hand dexterity. And this made me think, what solution is there out there that could potentially help this kid out? So I remember, I think it was the next week or the week after, I had 3D printed this crayon holder. So it's basically like a round circle. I'm just gonna illustrate here. So it's like a kind of a sphere which someone can grab, and they have the crayon in the middle of the sphere. And that way, all they have to do is kind of grab the sphere and then move the sphere around, and you end up coloring it. So I remember giving it to this girl, and she was really excited to receive it. I actually work very closely with an organization called the Neil Squire Society. And the Neil Squire Society is a Canadian not-for-profit organization who empower people with disabilities through technology. So they have an open source library, and I remember researching and finding out this design and trying it myself. I donated about 120 assistive devices with my Youth for Care team to the Surrey Memorial Hospital's rehab lab. And these assistive devices help people with disabilities do daily tasks, such as gripping a pen or opening a water bottle, and even opening a door. And for me, I was extremely joyous seeing the impact that 3D printing has on youth of today and even society as well.
I have the privilege of serving children and their families in my community of Langley and Surrey. These children come from families that are struggling with finances. They're settling into Canada as refugees or immigrants. They also struggle with mental health and addictions. So I have the privilege of working with them. I also work in a program called Super Saturday Kids Club. We pick up these children and we take them to a fun, energetic and loving environment. Our goal is to love these kids and be with these kids and show them that we care by building relationships with them. this summer, we actually, during COVID, we were handing out meals to a particular townhouse complex. And so there's a lot of Syrian refugees there. And there was one particular mom that was like, I think she was like 4 months pregnant, and they didn't have a stroller. They didn't have a car seat, and then they didn't have like essential baby items. And so what we did for like the next month was ask everyone we know and like collected all those items, and then we were able to give like a whole package to them. Community is helping each other. Community isn't just about, oh, like what can I get out of this community program? What can I get out of that community program? It's about contributing as well. I don't want to just, know what I can get out of the community. I want to contribute. I want to be a part of the community. And so, like, as an adult, I can completely relate with all the kids and youth that are in similar situations that I was in. And so I really want to walk alongside of them, mentor them, and just let them know that they're loved and that they're cared for, and that they don't need to hurt themselves. They don't need to feel horrible about themselves because of what circumstances they're in, and that there are people, not just me, but that want to help them and support them, and that it's really important as a community that we like work together to do that.
Look at what all these young people have accomplished. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I'm not on the selection committee. All right, so here we are, ready to go. Let's see who our recipient for the Youth Leadership Award is. All right. All right, so the recipient of the 2020 SASSY Award for Youth Leadership is Anna McNicol. All right, and Anna has...
I would like to award this $500 to Bus Ministry. I really appreciate that everything that Pastor Carl has done part of my life, and I would like to give this money because I know that it will make a huge impact, and it will really help a lot of people in all areas of Langley and Surrey.
Wow, as Vivian said, talk about warm fuzzies and such incredible youth in our community. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here, and congratulations to all of the recipients. I also want to express our sincere gratitude to all of our sponsors and friends of SASSY. Nominations for next year's SASSY Awards take place in the month of January. I am proud that we all came together to recognize the youth in our community and be a part of the strong Rotarian clubs here in Surrey and White Rock, who embrace the values of service, fellowship, diversity, integrity, and leadership. Reach out if you want to know more about Rotary. We have programs for youth and adults. Please reach out to us via the SASSY website for more information on how you can become involved. There's something for everyone. On that note, let's show our thanks. You can now unmute your mics and cheer on our finalists and recipients. Woohoo! Good night, everyone. Stay safe, and we hope to see you again.
Congratulations, everyone.
Great job, everybody.
Good job, everyone. All right. Awesome.
Super inspiring.
Amazing.
Oh, I heard that little voice.
Everyone.
Yeah. Yay.
Emma almost made me cry 2 years in a row. For heaven's sake.
I'm so proud of all the winners and all the participants. What a great selection of youth in our community. You know, you did a great job. All of you people in charge of SASSY as usual. And I see Bill is in here. Wasn't he one of the instigators of this many years ago? You know, I just think it's the greatest event ever. And it's encouraging for our youth.
So proud.
Yes, it is.
Congrats, everyone.
Yeah.
Great job.
Yeah.
Thank you to all the presenters, all our alumni that showed up to make our online event so special for everyone.
Yeah.